Hey, what's up? This is Chosen, and in this video, we are going to be going over my top 10 epics for the Dragon Dungeon, and the reason for this video is it is coinciding with an event based around the Dragon's Lair where you can only use epic champions. So I thought, what better time than now to explore this topic? So let's get into it. Alrighty, and obviously the Dragon's Lair is probably tied with the Fire Knight in terms of like the three dungeons: Ice Golem, Dragon, and Fire Knight. Dragon a little bit better for beginner and mid-game players maybe, and then the Fire Knight a little bit better for end-game players maybe. Then the Golem is kind of the worst of the three. So never a bad idea to participate in a Dragon's Lair event if you can handle it. And this one here is going to actually be epics only, and then it's going to have a 2x chance for the lifesteal set. So now let's go ahead and dive right into number 10. At number 10, I'm going to put Rector Droth. And also, I do want to make sure and give you the caveat of there was about 15 or 16 champions I wanted in this top 10. So for sure, there's going to be something you disagree with, and there's going to be something you want to let me know down in the comment section that should have been included, and I would love to hear that. This is mainly to drive a discussion and get the conversation out there. It's just always fun to make lists like this, and it's never going to be perfect, but I did my best to come up with a top 10 here. So why am I going with Rector? Well, you could never go wrong with having a good support. Stage 20 is Magic Affinity. That's going to be a common one that gets grinded for events, and so you're going to be strong in the common Dragon 20, and then also you're going to have Veil, lots of toughness, revive when someone dies, heals to counteract the poisons and the things that the dragon is doing. So you can never go wrong with a solid base stat support like Rector. At number 9, we're going to put Farrakhan, and similar to Rector, a newer champion coming to raid, but really a champion that is going to help you crank out a lot of damage, and you also get defense break on the A1, plus poison, HP burn, increased crit rate. So those champions that are floating around down there at 60 or 70 crit rate are really going to get a big boost, plus crit damage and ally attack, and a passive to help the hard, like the big AoE slam that the dragon does after it inhales. Now, one thing you want to be careful about with Spirit Affinity champions is they are weak on that common Dragon 20, but lots of other stages, Farrakhan is going to be a great option. At number 8, let's go with another new champion to raid. Well, newer, not legacy. So we've got 3 new champions so far in Rector, Farrakhan, and Deacon that were not available on raid's launch. But Deacon, okay, you're going to want somebody with a good aura in any team that you're building. All speed, 19% is a great aura. You get boosting for extra turns. He's going to also AoE defense break and place a leech, which basically gives your whole team lifesteal. So obviously Deacon, an amazing support in a lot of different situations of the game. Now for number 7, number 6, and number 5, it's going to be 3 champions that kind of fill the same role, and you can kind of move them around in those 3 spots as you wish. But Ugo, obviously, you're going to want an AoE defense break. Ugo is awesome at it. Also has lots of value in the A1 placing leech similar to Deacon to help your team get some heals on the dragon. You've got some clutch revive. If she is the last one to survive, it's tough to hit the parameters to get value out of that, but it is there. And then she also has a passive to kind of coincide with that ability there. So just a very solid general defense break champion in the epics. Then at number 6, we have got Stag Knight. One of the most famous epics in the game, is absolutely amazing. Came to raid coinciding with the first and only, as of now, as of recording this, the first and only battle pass that raid ever did. So now Stag Knight actually loses a little bit of his value in the Dragon Dungeon because the dragon is immune to turn meter decrease and speed debuffs. So if you're a newer player to raid, they don't really do a good job of like really making sure that players know that. But if you're a veteran, you probably already know that. But yeah, the decreased speed on the A1 here is not going to help you out in the dragon. That is a big part of his value, is the multi-hit decreased speed that you won't really get anything other than the waves. It's not going to help you out in the dragon. But with the 3 turn when booked cooldown of the big defense break and the big attack break, so good for the waves and so good for the dragon. And then do keep in mind, similar, you got to be careful with Spirit, because if you're on stage 20, that is something you're going to want to watch out for. And then a lot of people forget about the passive, where you're getting an extra chance to not miss debuffs if you missed before. So going to be getting a little bit more accuracy there for some of those more developing accounts as well. Stag Knight's amazing base stats make him one of the best epics in the game when you consider the kit as well. And then at number 5, I'm barely going to have Duck edge out Stag Knight, just because of the affinity mostly. I think the most commonly grinded stage, like I said, is going to be Dragon 20, and he's basically a magic affinity Stag Knight. So you get this AoE defense break and attack break on the A2, a booked 3-turn cooldown. Very similar to Stag Knight in terms of what the biggest proponent of their value is going to be. And since Duck is a little bit of a better affinity, especially for the people that are doing Dragon 20, I thought this would bump him up just one spot ahead. At number 4, we've got a champion that I don't think enough people talk about and doesn't get enough love for how good of an epic that Claude Beast Feeder is. Again, a newer champion to raid, insane base stats. The A1 is going to be decreasing crit rate to help the toughness of your team. Damage scales with HP, has a really good base HP for an epic. We get a booked 3-turn cooldown of shield based on this champion's max HP. That is the best version of a shield ability with the cooldown and basing off of their scaling. And then we also, in any good team, you're gonna want a speed boost. Someone like an apothecary that does the AoE increased speed on a 3-turn cooldown. And then also, for those developing accounts that don't have a really good Great Hall, don't have good banners yet, boom, you get the 50% increased accuracy on top of the speed. And then we also get a passive that is going to be healing, target healing to where it is needed the most. You can see here, heals the ally with the lowest HP by 10% of their max at the start of each turn. So you build Claude with high speed, you're going to get the speed boost, the accuracy boost, and so much value here at the number 4 spot. And now we're up in the top 3, and for those of you that are astute raid players, you probably know where I'm going here with the top 3. I'd be shocked if many of you disagree with this top 3, and none other than the Dragon OG himself, Royal Guard. And obviously the main selling point of Royal Guard is the takedown ability with the AoE based off of max HP. It can be a crazy DPS. You'll even see insane speed runs where they use 2 or 3 Royal Guards on endgame accounts to blast through the waves and the dragon. And a lot of people forget that for waves and stuff, you actually get the 4 times at random decreased speed on Royal Guard. So, and you can get some decreased turn meter on that. So the people forget how good Hamstring can be as well. And you get defense break on the A1. So Royal Guard obviously cannot be outside of the top 3. He is incredible for the dragon. Now, I had a really tough time in figuring out how 2 and 3 should be. Should it be Seer Royal Guard or Royal Guard Seer? I went with Seer because of the Void Affinity and maybe the higher upside. Like you'll see when you get these really min-maxed teams set up, Seer can just blow through the wave, reset, blow through the wave, and you're at the boss in 15 seconds. So I had to go with Seer number 2, just an incredible epic. I don't have to explain to you why. We've got the Karma Burn ability here that's going to strip away buffs and then absolutely nuke anything in her path. So if you build the right team around her, placing a lot of buffs, Renegade, Kymar, things like that, to help with the cooldowns, which we don't have a whole lot of options for that in the epics, surprisingly enough. You've got like Painkeeper, Renegade, Kymar, but not a whole lot of epics that fill that role. So maybe an opportunity for Plarium to come out with a pretty valuable epic in the future that could kind of coincide with certain Seer builds and reset lower type builds. So Seer obviously has to be on the list, very high at number 2. Now, do you know who I'm going to put at number 1? It is a very new champion to raid. It is a Void epic in the Ogarin tribes, and boom, here we go. We're going with none other than Uragrim at the number 1 spot. So very, very new champion to raid, just came out right before me making this video, but people are already doing insane things with Uragrim. You've got the Void Affinity, so you're never going to be weak. You've got the All Battle 20% speed aura. You've got the A1, that's a triple hitter that places poisons. Poisons are amazing in the dragon. You've got the A2 here that's going to cleanse the debuffs that are placed on you, the poisons, all of that, and do some healing. So basically like a Steel Skull right here. Then you've got this ability. We're going to place 3 poison debuffs on all enemies for 2 turns, and also 2 continuous heal buffs on all allies for 2 turns. We've got like a Battle Khazar A3 here. We've got like a Steel Skull A2. We've got an insane speed aura, all battles for all allies. We've got an A1 that does a lot of damage, triple hitter poisons. This guy can solo the dragon in really good gear, and you've got really good base stats to boot down here on the bottom right. Even gets a base accuracy of 15, which even Mashaled doesn't get. Mashaled starts with 0 base accuracy. You'll see that sometimes where legendaries don't get any accuracy, even if placing debuffs is a huge part of their kit. So what is not to like with Uragrim? In my opinion, there was no other option. It has to be Uragrim at number 1. But if you disagree, I would love to hear why. I think the top 3 are pretty locked in at Seer, Royal Guard, Uragrim, however you want to place them. And then after that, there's it gets a little bit more convoluted and tougher to get an ironed out list. But definitely let me know what you think down below. And then just for fun, in closing, I'll show you a team that I put together here for running Dragon 20. And also, I do want to let you know that don't feel too bad about doing like a stage lower. Like I usually farm Dragon 25, but there's nothing wrong with, for events when you don't have the whole power of your champion roster, go ahead and bump it down a few levels. Don't go crazy trying to do Dragon 25, because you actually get a lot of points in Dragon 20. If I pull up the chart here, you can see right here, we actually get more tournament and event points in stage 20 than even 25 when you break it down per energy refill and compare it based off of actual energy cost and how many points you're going to get. So do not feel bad about bumping it down a few levels, especially if you're going from like 24 to 20, totally fine. I'm going to be doing Dragon 20 to coincide with this event here, but this is a fun team. I do actually have an Uragrim that I just pulled, so I may change my team around in the next Clan vs. Clan. There's a Clan vs. Clan coming very soon as of me recording this video. So right now, I just built a triple Royal Guard nuke team. I'm lucky enough to have been playing for a couple years, and I actually was, diligent enough to hold on to 3 Royal Guards. You never know when you have a top tier epic like that, when you'll want multiple copies. So I held on to 3 Royal Guards, and I can build a fun Dragon 20 team like this, where I throw on some gear on the other 2 Royal Guards, and then we just set it up to have them be slower than Ugo. Make sure the Ugo gets the defense up. You see there's 626k coming out of Royal Guard because the defense break stays up from Ugo. Another takedown, and then the other Royal Guard will come swooping in right here with their takedown, and we're able to build like an epic only 90-second team. I did a couple runs here, and it's about 115 to 150, just depending on the RNG here. So this was the fun one here that I put together for the video, just the triple Royal Guard nuke team. This was actually a bad RNG here. I had some that were like a minute 17 off camera, but you know how that works. When I record, it's going to be 20 seconds slower. And just for those of you that are curious, I've got the stats popped up right there if you want to see how that breaks down. The Melga is just there in case somebody dies. You've got Hordens and different things that can really pose a problem in the waves. Sometimes you'll randomly lose a Royal Guard. It's nice to have the Melga there for the shields to help them mitigate and also revive them if need be. Ugo, obviously, you need somebody doing the defense break. And then the 3 Royal Guards nuking with the takedown slower than Ugo, so that we can hopefully keep that up permanently and then blast off the crazy damage with the takedown ability A2s. But okay, that will do it for my top 10 epics in the Dragon Dungeon, and I would love to hear where you agree and where you disagree down below in the comment sections. I do my best to go through comment sections of my recent videos and kind of grab a pulse of what people think, so I can formulate my opinions to be more accurate in the future. So if you take time to leave feedback, I do appreciate that. So as always, have a good rest of your day. Thanks for watching. Peace.